Thank you very much. As we hurtle in to our final game of the evening, and we've made it. And I am excited for to get just the energy that we hope is going to explode between these two teams, because yes, it is a seasonal game. Yes, it's early on in the season. Yes, this, won't be the biggest test these two teams have ever had against each other by any stretch of the imagination. But whenever they hit heads, it is always fun. Look at that cool
Only
Deimos.
thing that I kind of worry about, though, with these two teams is really, apart from, the odd kind of like final and obviously SI,
Yeah.
a lot of the time I feel as though these kind of big games, it's just kind of one-sided sweep. That's where I have. We've seen them play against Reload, Furia 1-7-3.
Yeah.
We've seen them play at Invite 25, FaZe 1-7-5-7-2. Even during the group stage as well, Furia 1-7-5-7-3. That's the worry I have, though, is that the history of these teams, it's pretty, one team wins dominantly. It hasn't been like every fixture is 8-6, 8-7, straight to the wire, you don't know who's going to win. Yeah, that's the only thing I worry about.
I'm just going to put you to the side for a second, Demo.
Okay.
Just to the side. Our job is to hype people up. You and I were supposed to, get the crowd moving.
Yeah.
Just think about that. This is going to be the best game of Siege we have ever seen. Everybody at home, be ready for it. It starts out with an exploration.
See, if we're big enough, just play day free. God forbid me and you get a chance at a final that they're in on LAN. God forbid,
It'll be like, yeah, this is a pretty good game. Yeah, we've had
so
instantly.
Play day free, Fluke. There was more hype for play day free than what we are here, whatever major city we're in.
Yep. Because Cyber just got the Deimos pressure immediately on towards Ivy, forced the player further and further back, as Nade is going to get on out of there, but KZ is just ZZZ now as they were caught sleeping.
I think Fresh made a really good point, though, about how Furia and the players that they have will be the more aggressive side. I agree with that. I think you've got KZ, you've got JV, you've got Herds. Those three alone, a lot of the time just run around and do what they want, It's usually Fleepox and Nade who have to kind of do the dirty work of the team, the ones who have to sit in sight, have to do these boring jobs to try and make up for the other three. So I think FaZe will have a great understanding. Of course, both of these teams know each other so well. I will expect that FaZe will still be able to deal with the aggression that Furia will try and achieve.
Ooh, are you kidding? Pulled off. Okay, I was going to say pulled off the bandit trick, but didn't. I thought they were able to catch the right-hand wall there, but it still popped open, which led to their death. But also they did it whilst there was a breach underneath them. I talked about this when we were on Chalet earlier on, that when we saw another team approaching this site, they didn't really have anything else in terms of hard breach, because they just pulled the Habana and, well, they got to the limits quite quickly. Here, the Ace has sort of proven why they can do so much. The plant is going down. Souls just snuck in, but Herds knocks them out and stops the immediate pick back up by some of the fire. They've got themselves around to the front door. 4 versus 2, though. Oh, 4 versus 1. Just Clash alone, blind, panicking, and in a bathroom. We've all been there, trying to find their way out, but they don't get very far. FaZe Clan start strong and finish stronger.
I don't know if I've ever panicked in the bathroom, I'll be honest with you. You can't speak for all of us, I'll be honest with you. I think if I'm going to the bathroom, I know what I'm doing. I've thought about it for a long time. I know the plan. It's yeah.
The bathroom is always a great room, mostly, because
Maybe you need to lay off the coffee. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, I do, but if we're going back to conversations we've had with doctors, I like the smoking Deimos. I do really love the new animated backs. Obviously, we saw them from the Valkyrie earlier on in the evening as well. Very cool. I'm excited to see more of them.
Good pacing from FaZe, I thought. Controlled the rounds from kind of start to finish. They dealt with the early aggression coming in from Furia, and then from there they just kind of in their own time carry on, isn't it? That's what it's like for them. It's very clear cut. They know what they're doing. Obviously, the guys on the desk had mentioned that, this is a map we just don't see FaZe play. Was it Chalet?
Yeah.
But I don't know, I still think that a team that doesn't play the map and then they're pulling it out on the stage, it means that they've probably been cooking it during the off-season, no?
Oh, 100%. And,
so I think that was maybe the worry for Furia.
I think there's that line that you always sort of say is one of the main things that separates a good team from a great team is map pool, is how much that they're sort of learning and adapting towards map changes, how wide they want their pool to be, what their consistent bans are. And when you are up to the echelon that these two teams sit in, they will just always keep developing those. They know that they cannot sit back and rest. They know that they need new battlegrounds, new ways to get, because everybody else is trying to measure themselves against the meter stick that is FaZe Clan or Furia. So they've got to keep changing where that stick is, how high it is, and introducing a map like Chalet at this point, just because they've hated a map for so long, doesn't mean that they won't find a way around it. They've just maybe said, hey, this is the time for it. The Clash of Nade, playing around blue, waiting for some of the pressure to come here, but doesn't want to get entirely caught out. Obviously, they could be a bit mobile, deploy the shield. There's the protection here on towards the top of the fireplace with the mute jammers too. It's slowing FaZe's initial approach, but, well, that doesn't last very long. The grenades perfectly bounce around. There's pressure coming up the stairs as well. Handy's behind him, and he doesn't quite get the fight right idea, but unfortunately that execution leaves KZ the second time. First body, but the second follows. Herds trades out, gets Cypher, but it is go, go, go. Pressure on towards the hatch. Wanted to try and get the follow through on towards the player, but Furia, look at them. They have just dropped down to the site demo and underneath Philippox down in garage.
Yeah, but this is an area they don't want to be in. Two of them stacked up inside a stock. I mean, it'll be like shooting fish in a barrel, really, for FaZe. And KDS will establish the lead for his side in this round with a kill. Onto that dreaded clash, of course. And that's going to be really good, though, for the Monty. It's knowing that the clash is gone. He can simply just walk in, doesn't have to worry about getting stunned out by the clash shield, of course. Philippox, like you mentioned, was below and has since then rotated upstairs in towards dining, but his location is known. Souls is on the case. The Monty actually going to trade a kill back and forth as JV able to take down the Monty, but hey, they know exactly where Philippox is, though. They kind of maneuvered around him to target the other players inside the bomb site, and that's going to be a 1v2, but not an easy one. Two full HP players that he's up against in Philippox. Has no information at all. Everyone is just watching him in hopes that he can clutch.
Well, they've got themselves in, but they're not being quiet about it, so they know where he's gone. Able to step up for a first engagement, and they're just going to play on contact here. As soon as one of them drifts into the firefight, the other one's going to swing round, and, well, if they can get an angle on one, there's the pop-up, there's the bit of motion, and they're gifted one! Oh, a mistake, maybe. They've rotated round above. They should be able to get the watch on this. They're waiting. They fire Felipe. Oh, he almost held on.
Almost.
And if he had, it would have been his, but it's much easier for us to say that from our perch here above. They're waiting. They're still waiting. Oh. That was close.
That was extremely close. He just thought, you know what? I'll stick it. If he kills me, he kills me. Thankfully for FaZe, able to get that over the line, because that would have been pretty poor to see them lose that round, as considering how well they did with the top floor execution. The Monty caused them obviously a lot of issues just with the pressure that he can apply, the information that he gives over to the team, of course. But Furia, certainly in the opening, it feels like that's where they're really dropping the ball. It's not the same kind of headstrong Furia where they come out all guns blazing. They've tried that, but again, FaZe dealt with it really, really well, haven't they? They're not letting anything get past them.
No, I think that was it, right? Obviously, it was a 1 versus 3 that came down to a 1 versus 1 with a sliver of a second left on the defuse kit. FaZe, if that was their mistake to make, they've made it. Let's see if they sort of grow from it. We've seen teams get by on the confidence, but still, should it have got to that position? Not really. You understand why they made the rotate. They wanted that sort of position, but it just sort of chanced it at the worst possible moment, really. And again, as I sort of said, playing on contact seemed like the first idea, but at that point, again, we have all the information. They do not. Still, 2-0 here for FaZe Clan on their lead-in, on their attack on Chalet. As you said, it seemed well put together, well pieced together. They know how Furia wants to hold and defend this, which does give me that sort of eyes towards the second half of this, regardless of how we get there, is how are Furia going to approach FaZe Clan holds that they just might not know anything about.
FaZe, the drone work, doing the right thing of just getting the information, and oh, the goo mine will stop that blitz, and Handy, oh, goes down because of that. They tried something quick, trying to take in towards the barn stock. They will eventually net their kill, but at what cost though? They've lost 2 because of it.
Yeah, I mean, they get 1 off the board, but yeah, you think about what's been removed there, especially the blitz. But it's Handy, who's been a big drive for the team. There's obviously all the comparison graphics that we can make, but at the same time, you just look at the stats in the sort of server. Now, Cyber has the track on a very far away player. If they don't know about the one top blue, which is KZ, they could be the big problem child. Herds isn't far away as well. Having some of that information sort of led in front of him. There's a reveal on Herds, but you still got chance at KZ tucked, waiting for somebody to not know that he is here. They've checked other players all around him. They might still just be checking the swing round. No, they know he's going to try and get himself out of this position. There's the reveal, but it is taking a lot of time away from the attacker's demo. ADS now down as well.
Yeah, I think this is going to be just a very long, drawn-out round, really. I just don't see FaZe getting themselves back into it. Furia certainly outgunned them this time. FaZe tried to hit those roamers pretty fast, but just a simple operator like a Legion was enough to stop the blitz in his tracks, and that's more the Furia that we're used to seeing, where they can go in and just dominate around. You know, really easy for them. Set up shop well, good team play, good trades. Yeah, that's more like it, Furia.
2-1. The game is not going to be that one-sided affair that it might have dangerously started to eke an edge towards, as we saw before. Now the bans being added to the pile, Fenrir and Montaigne.
Makes sense. Fenrir played a lot. Obviously the Monty, big issue for Furia that they had to deal with. But still leaves operators such as Blackbeard up. Of the Blitz, of course, as well.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
I was going to say the Deimos could have potentially been one for them to remove. Obviously, it's sort of been a consistent approach here for the side of FaZe, now in Vitiking's hands, rather than Cyber's. And maybe that's why they didn't remove it, because Cyber hasn't had the massivest amount of success, specifically with Deimos. But Deimos on this map is great.
I sometimes think that the kind of bans, especially at this point, the single bans that come in after 3 rounds being played, maybe it comes down to whatever player is most vocal about how much they hated playing against this certain operator. You know, maybe that's where it comes down to. Maybe Casey was screaming saying, "No, I'm not playing against this Monty again. You ban it or I will walk. That's your option."
So, like, how most people's ranked game goes. It's like, you ban
Precisely.
it or I throw it.
Exactly.
I mean, either way, a Monty-less game is what they want for the rest of this. Blackbeard is immediately up now from the swap over from Cyber. Instead, Vidiking is going to move off the Deimos, so it shows what I know, but shows what they might do, really. Blackbeard, Ying, Lion, Grim, bow, 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 explosive,
A lot of yellow and red.
And a lot of yellow and red. Is it going to be something that sort of sets itself in at a pace here, as they tried to do in the previous round where things went wrong for them? Or are they going to go back to their slow build, their great execute? They're plucking the lives of Furia away like a monster in the night.
I think for FaZe, it's information and just seeing where the weak points are. This is top tier Brazil. You know, this is the high level teams where all they need is just a little bit of a gap and they're away. Ying's on the double window. I'm guessing Blackbeard's going to go straight in through the office. Oh, what a bad C4 from Nade, though. There's a lot of bees in and around him as well, but he's just staying put. They haven't reached him at the moment, but he doesn't even know where he's getting shot from. It's going to be from bathroom window. And FaZe have also netted 2 down, so it is a 1v5 for JV.
Yeah.
What is he going to do?
I mean, like how I said it, I was like, are they gonna, you know, go rush in? They're gonna
Go for a walk.
take it slower and steadier, weigh all of their options up, and yeah, it seems like they weighed up their options. Great kill on towards the Blackbeard. But now, as they have to sit and wait, they're just gonna go and plant on the far side of A, behind the bomb chassis. Yep, all the way in the distance, you can see it happening. They know that the player's not gonna be able to get them to stop this. They're gonna put a set timer on the end of this round. JV92, 4 more players, and there's one above him on this doorway. Is he going to win out this first fight? Well, even if he does, he's not going to get much further. Nope, that door is closed, my friend. Oh, so is that wall.
Clinical phase round. Seen, you know, obviously last time it was Furia, it was just classic Furia, and this time it's picturesque round from FaZe, the way that they can just demolish teams with their utility dump. Everything going for them. Blackbeard in through office. Candela's, the bees hitting their mark. Yeah, just superb. What can you say about FaZe? Furia. Not looking too hot.
Protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Which is ironic because we're all hot. Still is. At 11 o'clock at night, it is still boiling in my room.
It's criminal how warm I am.
It's at this time of night, you'd think the sun's gone. Why is it warm? Make it make sense. Physics is a lie.
It's all just a lie.
Honestly. Wait till I catch Neil deGrasse Tyson. And I give him speak my mind about him.
It's 23 degrees Celsius right now. Which doesn't sound bad, but it's 11 p.m. fully nighttime, and it's heavy air. I know we've been talking about it a lot, but we need to make excuses for why sometimes my words are like slop that I'm trying to turn into poetry because my brain is the same. We find ourselves down on Garage. We obviously saw a bit of a mistaked round earlier on that was claimed out by the defenders by a mistaked moment from the attackers. I don't think FaZe will make a similar sort of mistake here, but 3-1 to 4-1 puts them in a very different spot. Gets rid of the Goyo. That sort of stops the rush, and they're just going to put the pressure immediately on the back of the shield, but there's the Gun 6 to get rid of the shield. Just no muss, no fuss.
No, just single play from Viking doesn't need anyone. Just, yeah, I can do it myself, you know, and obviously for Furia, they want to play aggressive on that trench wall. That's why they opened it up alongside the shield, but just to have it gone immediately, you know, it's just puts them the back foot ever so slightly. And you can see FaZe, they're probing every area of the map. They're everywhere all at once, just looking for options. I mean, Furia, I don't know how they could just sit still, because it's the panic of where could they be, where are they going? We have the Clash, top floor, assisting a Goyo who's on Fireplace. This ain't something you see all too often.
Now, with a minute 30 left and still probing, as you said, still trying to find the chance of this engagement, and the Fireplace player has pulled even further back. He's waiting in library, waiting in sort of the approach of anyone to kind of try and study them. You can see that they're still droning out. It is drawing attention, but they're very good FaZe at making sure they don't get distracted entirely by this. Herds does win out though. Handy's gone. And that frees up that top floor player, so they've got to push into the site. They get the first. There's the swing on towards Trench at this point, and there's the rotate. JV92 is like, well, we have upstairs, let's back it up. Herds gets one more. Down on Fireplace stairs. The 3 remaining players here are in a tricky situation. Do we pull back? We have 50 seconds. Now is the time that we have to make this decision. Or do we continue the pressure on towards the site, knowing that at any chance we can get encircled from people behind us? They still have a Clash to get through. The electrified wall is causing them some problems as well, and you can see that they're trying to run the numbers because they've hit a bit of a false stop here. There's another smoke canister. The Clash just reading all of this out, and look at Herds moving over the top. He's about to come his way down West Main. He's timing this perfectly. Vidakin gets JV92, and they're inside the site, but at some point I'm going to see Herds' name pop up on the right. There's the drop, and there's the cover. Now, Herds needs to cut this kill importantly, but Philippox wins it out anyway. Either side of the pillar, Philippox gets another, and it leaves just one left. Couldn't get out of the range.
Oh, Philippox. Said it before, this guy's role is sit, and do the job while the rest of his team runs around. That's what he has to do. But he does it so well. Look, that was a period a little bit worrying there for Furia. It went down to a 3v2 that they were against, considering it looked as though they were in a really good spot for the majority of that round. They attempted this kind of solo roam from the Goyo, who just fed them kill after kill. It worked really well. FaZe didn't really know how to approach that. They wanted to go direct in sight instead. They had trouble with the clash, as, again, most teams do. Eventually got rid of her, but then Fleepox, just, again, great shots from him. He must have hit a really good shot. We didn't get the privilege of seeing it from our perspective, but he killed the guy who was way, way, way deep inside of Big Garage. So to even hit that with SMG, it must have been one heck of a shot. So all credit to Fleepox, really dragging this team out of the mud.
At this point, 3-2, and we're still getting those fiery rounds they sort of wished for and wanted into existence at the start of the showdown. You can see those moments, those maths being done, and arguably that round came down to a bit of a 1 versus 1. The loose player, the trust of, I am him, I can take him, I'll win, I'll win, on the top floor from either team, led to a result that only really worked out in Furia's favor. And then from then, they doubled up the roam. They sort of said, look, this is now all of ours. They only have to do this option. Got one more on Fireplace Stairs as well, so they secured the direct vertical. This shows the importance of how one kill can sort of start to flick around into a favor here. 3-2. Could try and level things up. Got the turbo to waste a bit of time on the approach on the wall, get it through the 2 stories, and once again, the Deimos is in the hands of Cyber.
Gets the ping. And if he can, again, get early access into the building and establish a foothold for his side. We'll have the shield, they have the blitz, of course, that as much as the Monty was great for getting the information, I just think having that blitz on a map like Chalet, where you do have these windows you can just explode through and really catch the opponents by surprise, it's that added little bit of extra aggression that Brazil loves oh so much. Upstairs to Fleepox on the Tabaro, doing good work and just slowing that down. And just as I kind of look at FaZe, it's not the same FaZe that we've seen from the past couple of rounds, Luke. A team who would sit there and probe and look for these weak spots. This feels pretty generic, pretty default. You're almost playing into where Furia wants you.
Yeah, I think that's the sort of shepherding element of it, right? Is how much of this is them going, we've got this control, but surely they would know and read the game being put ahead of them. C4 over towards the shield, handy, doesn't do the distance, but the deed is done. 2 C4s, 2 deaths, 1 knocked down and a potential trade. They're trying to flood their way in towards Piano with a long watch on the bathroom window just in case support comes, but they are not leaving. So as JV92 gets KDS on the floor below, and Fleepox removes Cyber. What a hold from Furia to end the half even.
Wow, cracking 2 rounds from Fleepox there, isn't it, to close out an even split. FaZe, I don't know. That's not the FaZe that we're used to seeing. It felt way too basic. You know, they've walked in to a coffee shop and just asked for a plain coffee. That's it. That's not FaZe.
That's not FaZe.
Where's the double whipped cream macchiato with a almond shot with double espresso? Where's that?
I just don't know. And neither do they. Hey, there's a Deimos ban. Deimos, Blitz, and his army and Clash. More shields, more bans, more combinations, more of the same, really. Because of the updated bans, I think that there's... If we were just taking the numbers from the first 4, it's for a while that it's been maybe the most similar bans across all the regions. There was a period of time where it was just the same bans across everything, and then it got wider, then it got thinner, then it got wider again. And now I think we're back to, oh yeah, there's just a couple that you just remove.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
Just, and Clash on one side, you got all the other shields on the other. Azami was always getting banned anyway, wasn't she? Like, even, 2 years ago. Whenever,
Oh, yeah,
really,
yeah,
since
yeah.
Azami's been introduced,
She's
she was
always been
getting
on that
banned,
list.
Yeah.
Even, like, the change that I get what they were going with it, in some regards, made her stronger. Which is strange to say, but there seemed to be a bit of a psychological change in how people approach the Keybers when they were just destructible and nothing else from bullets, and now it's, you'll see mag dumping from time to time, but people are just so worried about being swung whilst doing it.
Yeah, that's it.
That they don't do it. And it added this terrifying thing about, oh, aggressive as armies are just the worst thing in the world right now.
Yeah.
Still 3 apiece. Blackbeard is on the long watch, a classic position even before his changes here on Trophy, as he'll hope the pressure forces players into his waiting more. But otherwise, nothing yet.
Sense? Actually, to block off the window that you would normally get swung on, you go for this rappel onto Bathroom. Now that is a great little pocket strategy from Furia. Love to see that. FaZe, is there a response? You've lost the opening pick. Oh, a jump out. Oh, almost missed time, but because both of them, I actually think that Cyber vaulted maybe a millisecond before JV. That means he got his gun up quicker in that scenario. Very unlucky there for JV to get caught out. But still, it's something that FaZe needed a kill back in their favor.
I mean, yeah, that was just a flick of the coin and fate into the air there. Cyber survives on a sliver of health, but has the important kill. Hibana's gone. They have a backup for the hard destruction if they need it, as the Ace starts to get themselves cooking and working along. They've obviously got big eyes on towards Solarium. You can see that they've still got some of the hold and pressure below, but the loose players, the top of blue, the swing round here hasn't been contested. In fact, won't be. Instead, tempted with the drive underneath. But do they know about the West main player? How long have they been here? Oh, long enough to be revealed to a Blackbeard, and concerned about the fight that's about to come their way from Dining. It's an angle they take. Souls, whilst being watched by a Blackbeard and somebody else on the drone hole, getting a kill. Just a massive blow. Shouldn't be happening. There's cover or a trade. But either way, finally picked up. But with 30 seconds left, Ammo, Fury have a lot to do here.
Yeah, feels like a lot of work for them to try and go against FaZe, where they're just dug into really tricky positions. You look at this double crossfire, where they can just swing off each other. Perfection there from the 2 players of FaZe. Picking KDS. Doing the job. Ken Furia, it just... Good start, great little pocket play there from the Sense. But then they just really couldn't get anything going. It just kind of stalled out to nothing. But again, for FaZe, we know they're a difficult team to break down. Maybe they need more util? Maybe is that what they're missing to really root these players out?
It's a very sort of strange thing how that round played out, because they definitely hit a brick wall, right? You could see that they were talking and they were like, okay, well, we need to see this. Okay, but maybe if we go underneath, I know that I've got a player around Dining and around West Main, we can try and root them out. But having a player just watching a drone hold, they weren't there the whole time, but they showed up. The Blackbeard just on, trophy window, we saw them get there very early on in the round, and they didn't do much outside of that, and they were there when we came back towards it. And yet this player was able to still operate and get a kill. It turned into a 1 versus 1 where people were just listening, not really watching, and that doesn't really feel like Furia. And yes, they acted afterwards, but I don't know, a little bit disjointed from their usual sort of close down on players. Either way, Brava now on the board, can try and take control of some of those Banshees, and well, that's about it really. Apart from internal cameras and maybe a drone if they want to play a little bit of takesies backsies.
See the approach for Furia. And I did say I wanted a little bit more, util focus lineup to try and really make it difficult for FaZe. Put them in a position where, little bit prickly, where you have to kind of move into these different angles and take these engagements. You know, make it so FaZe just can't sit back and have an easy time. FaZe are going to start to feel a bit of pressure as Furia, again, as aggressive as the way they usually start these rounds, have done so successfully. That first pick, bit of King off the board, and maybe another one though, as Souls is going to be stuck. He's cut off. He has to fight this engagement. He's going to be full blind, and Panic sprays through, but nobody's there at the moment. Somehow wins it against Herds. Anyone there for the trade? There is one more person towards blue, and he gets it as well. Souls 1, may I clarify? What a beast. No way! No! Stop it!
I mean, stopped by a claymore, but that is case in point almost of what I was talking about before, where Furia's closed down on players. They had the man dead to rights. They were watching his route out, and then they gave him 2 1 versus 1s. He fought his way out through the Capitao Bolt, and it just feels like, you know, that connection, that sort of electricity those players usually have threading those takes apart is just a bit missing in this game. And it might just be because it's unknown quantities. As we said before, this is a test of, you know, FaZe's defenses. Furia having to live piece things out. It's not easy against great players. But the moments like that is just confidence coming back to bite them, because you can never write anyone out of this game. There's smokes covering the approach in, pre-firing the mirror window, and diving all the way into the back of Brett, but Cyber just locks it out.
It's almost like he just missed, like, a haymaker's been thrown at him and he just ducked underneath it there. Shotgun comes out. Oh, I mean, here's the thing about Souls, and I've watched him since he was brought onto this FaZe team, right? 2 words. Total beast. Simple as that. He's been my favorite player in FaZe since he joined. It's not even close. Don't know what it is about him, just, yeah.
Fun statistic, it's been 100%, I think, sort of conversion rate in the first half of being able to get the round. And then we come into the second half, and both times it's gone into the favor of Furia, and both times they've been unable to push that opening kill into success on the round, even though they're getting it generically a lot quicker than their opponents. FaZe took more time to sort of cook for that first engagement, and then would close down, and here it's just pulled away a bit. Soul's obviously doing what he did. Yes. He was able to do it because he was gifted an opportunity to do it, and that's that line of greatness that we often talk about. Is it's not that it's easy to do, and it's not that it was a gift, but a great player will see an opportunity amongst the pressure and the chaos and the madness and be able to compartmentalize it into this is an engagement, this is an engagement, this is an engagement. And that's what he was given. And now 5-3, FaZe separate themselves from at least OT guaranteed and at least some points guaranteed by 1 round. Furia, who had a bit of a false moment last week, could have another one here in a very tough game. And then they're looking at having to battle like dragons. They're looking at, you know, the potential people that will jump up on 9Z and how great they've sort of been playing. And regardless of whether they've sort of played or there'll be playoffs or whatever, there's a lot of strong mid-table right now for Brazil. You don't want to be stuck amongst it.
No. No, certainly not. Brazil, a region which is just so dominant. You know, it is. They've dominated everyone for the past 4 years. And they'll continue to do so. And there's always new blood coming through this region as well. There's always new ones that we just seem to find, and we're thinking, where has this guy been for the past number of years? Oh, he wasn't 18 yet. So that explains it, you know? It's just so much life in this region. Certainly for Furia, this is a must round. You cannot go 6-3 down against FaZe. You can't. You need to win this round. Keep in the matchup. Furia, opting for, it looks to be a bit of a focus onto removing out a lot of the roamers, because obviously you've got the Dokkaebi in there. You've also got the Zero, who you would naturally assume would be there for flight protection to deal with those roamers, but actually has been able to zap away the mirror window. Not bad.
Not bad at all. Gets rid of it and gets the drive on here, and Well, as they focus on towards the wall itself, there's a bit of a hop out on West Main, but it doesn't really net anything in particular. You can see FaZe are more than happy to make Furia uncomfortable. And yes, they've lost the opening engagement 2 rounds in a row, but it hasn't really affected the end result, and that's the most important part. This could be a very narrow line. Now, JV has a call, but
that's the issue, it's the call.
Yeah. They're probably aware that there's a player around this location, hoping that they're not aware that the other one's aware. And Cyber on the move now. And I was going to say, no, go back. No, go back. But they are just...
I don't like this.
It's just the thinnest margin. Free fires out of there and just leaves. And JV92...
Is he there? Has JV crashed? He hasn't moved an inch for the entire minute. He just wants to stay as quiet as he can because he's looking for that backstab. He's going to use that Dokkaebi call at the right moment. As soon as you see that call be used, he will spring into action and look for that backstab. It's just a case of, will FaZe allow him to do so?
Now they're pinging the mirror window over and over. I'm wondering if they're trying to get something in from behind it or above it. You could just heard it pop there, actually. So whatever angle they had, it worked wonders. KZ does find Cyber. And all for the wait, it's time to go for the dance. 20 seconds and the push on towards the site, and there's Souls pushing up for 2! Handy gets 1 more as well, and Furia this time tried to take a little bit more time in the kitchen.
Souls 1.
But as I choke out, FaZe do the opposite. They were so happy to just sit and wait and say, now we go, now we go.
I actually thought he botched it as well, because you see that he shot a bullet at the player crossing into short, didn't hit it, and I was like, oh, you gotta be dead at this stage, you have to be. Somehow drop shots the guy as well, bear in mind, and then immediately stands up and kills the guy in the breach. Just unbelievable from FaZe, honestly. This is what I said to you at the start. I've seen it plenty of times. These big games end up being stumps. What happens?
I get it. I get what you're saying. And it is a 6-3 currently, and it's not over. But it's also kind of hard to call it a stomp because it's a wide scoreline of a great game, if that makes sense. Like, it's not that the teams are just being entirely outclassed. You look across the board, generically everybody is filling up to their role. Generically everybody is putting themselves into the firefight. Furia have had these moments, but, you know, it's when you have the top of the card go against each other, someone's got to win, someone's got to lose, and...
I get what you mean, but if Furia lose this round and they lose 7-3, he didn't win a single attack. That's not good.
That's
From
true.
any metric, you know? It's... The 7-3, I always see it as, oh, well, that was pretty, you know, one-sided. You go on 7-4, like, 7-4, 7-3 is kind of like, where do you draw the line? I always like to draw it between 7-3 and 7-4. 7-3, it's like one-sided, yeah, that team won, no problems. 7-4, oh, well, they did okay. You know, that's my metric. But, again, I'm a lunatic, don't forget. Don't be
I'm
taking any
glass
experience
half
off me.
full. Your attack side fully empty. 6-3. At this point, and where they were slower a bit before, they're not now. Herds get Cyber, and again,
Where did he come from? Did he walk through the wall? Where did he
just appeared. Fed up. Handy goes down as well.
Oh my.
Furia have stopped messing around this round, and you know, as I said it before, they took so much time after the timeout, and whatever lessons they learned, they've thrown them into the wind and gone, let's just ball. They get the opening 2 kills. And, you know, they've been flawless on that on the second half, but they've also not won a single round so far, so this maybe getting 2 is the difference. 2 minutes here for the remaining 3 players of FaZe to hold out.
This round is more or less for Furia. We only know one direction, and it is forward. There is no backpedaling, it is just straight, as quick as they can make it. Souls is going to attempt to flank. Surely this will be covered off. Oh, he's seen somebody walk in towards the breach. Did he miss his moment? Oh, he doesn't know what to do.
No.
He doesn't want to make a noise, but he could be on for 2 here. 1, 2! Oh, Souls again!
The window!
This guy can't be stopped!
No!
Oh my god! This man is unstoppable, the defense.
The hop in on Ivy, and even that was free for him. As the ping on the player inside the second fight is JV92, who else but leaving just KDS massively hurt, and JV gets the last one. I mean, it was almost over, but JV92, world class in everybody's books. 6-4, Furia, they hold on for one more round. They have to find something else, though.
Oh boy. Boy, oh boy. Just insane, first of all, from Souls, but again, it's the tempo from Furia, you know, just how aggressive they were able to move in and give themselves that upper, you know, hand right from the get-go. It's different if Souls was doing that whenever the man advantage was equal, for example. That would have really hindered things, but thankfully for Furia, they had done enough in the early game that, as well as Souls may have tried, it was never going to be enough.
No. So, will FaZe offer early engagements? That's kind of one of the things I'm curious about here, because it's just not worked for them. Yeah, they've won the round out, but there's the sort of line of it. If they'd have had one more person up a bit deeper into the round, maybe someone on that side of the map to support Souls, then maybe you don't have the same engagement. Maybe you don't have that play out the way it did. But at the same time, you know, it's hard to argue with success sometimes, right? It's hard to look at, oh, well, we've won every single round up to this point, regardless of how we've played the opening. Let's just keep on going until we stop. They've stopped now. Is this going to tweak how things come out towards it? There's some attention and towards the castle hold above. The grenade will get the break here on bathroom window, just as handy. Slips into a slightly safer position, I say, as he's seemingly being encircled. Think about what the site is here.
It's a case of trying to see if they can set up the cutoff points. You know, like you mentioned, look at the site, yeah. They know there's roamers. On this top floor, there is windows that you can just sit on and just hold them as they try and cross in between piano, try and maybe rotate towards blue, for example. There are options there for Fury. It's just a case of, can FaZe get out of there scot-free? And all three of them have actually stacked up now, and they're almost like saying one at a time, start crossing back, trying to support one another. One guy move, one guy cover, one guy move, one guy cover. And they have been able to get the majority of players back.
It's good, because this is sort of one of those comments. I was like, they're in an aggressive position, but they've not gone for the full challenge, waste of time. Cyber almost got from a spray through a soft, I believe that was. Or it was just the fun happenstance of KDS moving around the same time and taking a bit of damage himself. But still, the pressure has started here on the opposite end. Decent amount of utility has been used, but in the grand scheme of things, they have everything they need still for a decent execute, and that shows the skill of Furia. We've talked about utility usage earlier on from other teams. They've got all the Capital bolts, they still have 2 frag grenades, 2 smokes, 2 flashes, and a call. You know, they've done the work they needed to without overextending what is in their pockets. A minute left as they focus on towards it, and Handy finally finds the opening kill here on this half for FaZe. Can Furia be the ones to rewrite the round?
I think the danger man's going to be KDS and the Warden. He's tucked inside of that corner. Is he going to be fired out? Yes, he is. So they have done the correct thing, which is get the information, figure out where he is. He didn't drop, though. He never dropped. He remained upstairs. Why would you not drop? Go back to site. Oh, dear.
Cyber holding out underneath. Souls as well. Perpetually trying to find a fight, and Cyber finds one on towards one set. There's Souls getting the other, and with 18 seconds, Cyber back inside, but not for long, and JV getting Souls. It is just Vidiking and 9 seconds. Now they have pings. The plan is being secured. They've downed one player. They just got to push on towards Nade. It's 2 seconds. They're waiting. Have they waited too long? Oh, good prediction. Fight on the doorway. Back and forth on the lumber, and Nade pulls out. Now, they have 2 bolts, but they cannot risk swapping away from their gun! But it doesn't really matter. Vidiking is the end of this, and FaZe take 3 more points for their tally, skyrocketing back to the top of the board as Furia are left to languish